Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Okay, and I need to concentrate. People, stop sending me Glenn's football picture when he was in college. Not survivable by any female or gay guy. Okay, hi, good morning.
Good morning, Steph.
Okay. So where do we start with all this? So the clock, I can hear the 60 minutes clock in my head, which makes me so happy. I'm sure Trump can too. I mean, there's reporting out this morning. Maggie Haberman reveals Trump world chatter about Trump rage at property seizures, possible bankruptcy. So the first thing I've heard is you can't discharge fraud through bankruptcy, fraud debt. Right? I mean, obviously, Trump just went on social media and said he has $500 million in cash. So here's where what he says meets a court of law, right? So what?
Well, Steph,
Go ahead.
the good news, I didn't hear that he just said that, but the good news for Donald Trump is he can just take that $500 million, deposit it in the court's escrow account. He needs to come up with another couple of $100,000 to account for the interest that will accrue during the appeal. But if he's telling the truth, bully for him. I guess, Tish James won't have to begin seizing his properties. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Donald Trump's probably not telling the truth.
Right.
Right, right. But I guess once again, there's no consequence for that. I mean, I don't. Because obviously the judge would say the same thing you just did. Okay, great. Well, then you can pay your bond. But
And not only that, Steph, do you think he would have authorized his lawyers to file that unbelievably embarrassing court filing that said Donald Trump doesn't have the money? Donald Trump cannot get anybody to issue him a bond because nobody trusts him and he doesn't have the assets to secure a bond. Listen, if he had $500 million, he would not have wanted his lawyers to put his what in the wind like that.
yeah. Yes. So we were talking yesterday about this. The monitor. What is her name? Former Judge Barbara Jones. So obviously, it appears to me the judge is concerned also about last minute Donald Trump. What's the legal term? Effery. Let's just say.
Michigas?
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant.
Okay.
Effery.
Effery. Got it.
Sorry, I didn't have access to my. Free.
Okay.
Okay. Because he wants every detail on their attempt to secure a bond. Because the sound we just played for you was his former spokesperson saying what everyone's speculating, he's going to get it from a foreign source if he does do a last minute Hail Mary. So, does the monitor mean we will get some transparency on that?
Yeah, so she is all over Trump. And if he attempts to, quote, dissipate his assets, which is
Right.
the word Judge Engoron used when he promoted Barbara Jones to an enhanced monitor, which I think is nice. So if he tries to mess around, she's going to be all over it. She's going to report it to the court, and he could be held in contempt. I kind of feel like Judge Engoron may be itching to hold him in contempt because in many ways, Judge Engoron has been very restrained over the life of this case. But here's my favorite part of Judge Engoron's new order. He said, and Barbara Jones is permitted to hire any outside professionals she believes are necessary to oversee what Donald Trump is doing. And Donald Trump will pay for it. Had a little Mexico will pay for the wall ring to it. But don't you love that he has to pay for the watchdogs that will then be overseeing his attempt to play games with his assets? That feels like a
Yeah.
little bit of poetic justice.
Yeah. I keep saying that it appears to me if it's true he can't get the money anywhere, it's because no one thinks he's going to win. So, you know what I mean? Like, otherwise, you having a United States president in your pocket would be a pretty good investment. But I think one of the things I wondered about is I think Letitia James said something about you don't have to get the bond all from one place. You could get smaller ones. Why didn't he do that? I'm just sort of curious.
Because nobody wants to be the person to step up and say, I vouch for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I'm willing to insure him. Think about it. No insurance company, no surety, no bondsman is willing to step up and say, I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to guarantee that Donald Trump will pay out in total at the end of the day if he loses his appeal. So, and who would want to be in that position? So
Yeah.
it's not a surprise that he's not able to get anybody to put this up for him.
Yeah. Here is Chris Lavoie wants to rain on my parade story that he'd
Oh.
like you to comment.
Oh, well, I mean,
Well, I mean, the headline is from CNN: Donald Trump may be about to get $3 billion richer, but it won't likely solve his cash crunch. It's this Truth Social thing, right?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a minute. I mean, I have been looking at this story, and I've been looking for some evidence that this is actually going to happen. But if it is, the question is, okay, where is all of this money pouring in from? Who's willing to bet on Donald Trump being successful on this, third-rate social media platform that is going to merge with a bigger company? It doesn't make any sense to me. If it happens, we need to know who is the funding behind it. You're going to have to go through lots of shell corporations, I suspect. But here's the thing, Steph. If this was really imminent and he was about to get $3 billion flowing into his coffers, he wouldn't have filed that motion just a couple of days ago saying, or having his attorney say, Donald Trump is flat broke, he can't afford a bond. So
Yeah.
the two things don't make a lot of sense to me.
All right, let's get back to the fun stuff. Letitia James takes first steps to seize Trump's Seven Springs Resort in West. She filed in Westchester. Former Trump attorney tells Newsmax that Letitia James absolutely could be targeting could seize Mar-a-Lago. Oh, this is so much fun. It's like playing real life Monopoly. So obviously she doesn't have to file in Manhattan where Trump Tower and 40 Wall Street, because that's where the judgment is. But so obviously she's getting ready, right? She's crossing her T's and dotting her I's. Like obviously the two Westchester properties.
She's basically perfecting the state's interest in Donald Trump's Westchester County properties in New York. Both I love the Daily Beast article about this because they called it the storied Trump estate. This Seven Springs 212-acre sprawling estate, and they actually call it a Bruce Wayne-like mansion on that 212 acres, which prompted me to say, okay, one thing we know for sure, Donald Trump ain't turning into Batman anytime soon. Maybe the Joker, but I got to give props to the Daily Beast for spinning it that way.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, this is the, Jordan Sekelo, one of the former Trump lawyers, said Letitia James absolutely will target Trump's New York properties, may even go outside the state. As far as the courts can infer, sureties may have refused to accept defendant-specific holdings as collateral because using Mr. Trump's real estate will generally need a property appraisals, and his holdings are not nearly as valuable as defendants claim. That was another little Tish James. So... He was asked, do you really expect Letitia James to actually move forward with taking over Trump properties in New York? His former lawyer said, absolutely, I do. He meant this in a bad way, but then also talked about Mar-a-Lago. So how does she make those decisions about what to go after if indeed she...
That's a great question because, now listen, she did her homework in preparation for the New York fraud trial. They had expert testimony on the true valuation on lots of Donald Trump's properties. So she knows better than we do exactly how much equity each of these properties might have. So she's going to have to make some thoughtful decisions about, on what properties to put these liens and then begin seizing them. And, the devil's in kind of the procedural details regarding how she extracts the value out of each property until it totals the amount of the judgment, which is more than $500 million, not even accounting for interest. So, listen, she has a whole team of financial experts that I am sure are making these decisions as we speak.
So it makes me so happy.